You don't have, I mean, I don't ever see him eating, but I never see anybody eating in Superman show. And
They don't take any food. Do they drink anything other than magic potions?
come to think of it, they do drink some, and every once in a while they're in a coffee shop or some kind of place. I've even seen Clark Kent pick up a sandwich, but I don't know if I've ever seen him eat a sandwich.
Just pick it up and consider it.
Look at it. Like an alien would look at a sandwich. I mean, if you were from another planet and you picked up this sandwich, wouldn't you like kind of look at it and go, "What's this?"
I wonder if it's dangerous to just pick things up that you don't know what they are. You're on somebody else's planet. You see a thing. It could be a sandwich, but it could be something else. It could be a snapping sandwich. Like there are turtles and then there are snapping turtles. They're not the same.
Yeah. Oh no, they are not the same. Yeah. No, there's no sameness to those.
So you got a snapping sandwich, but you don't know because you're from another planet. The best thing is not to pick it up, to give it some time to reveal its nature to you, but rather than have it in your hand or in your mouth for that matter. A snapping sandwich, you put it in your mouth, you're open to a number of different outcomes. None of them are really. It's something that would happen to Jimmy, but you wouldn't want it to happen to Superman.
Right, but if Superman is invulnerable unless the sandwich was made from kryptonite, wouldn't he?
Apparently,
Wouldn't he?
there's kryptonite in everything. We just didn't. We
I
never
never
knew
heard
until we had
that.
Superman. It's
I never
everywhere.
heard that.
How
I mean,
how,
I
co-
don't.
how why is there so much of it around when you don't want it?
Well, I heard that the only thing you had to do was stay away from Pittsburgh because they thought that there might have been a lot of kryptonite in the water around
In the
around.
water.
Yeah, in the water and in the soil and wherever you went in Pittsburgh, there was kryptonite because of the steel making.
Is the zone of what's it called? The zone of phantoms, phantom zone.
Phantom Zone, yes.
Was that also originating in Pittsburgh?
No, no, they have a ray. They have a ray gun type thing that they set up and they point it at the person and he goes. And then
Because the
when they
phantom
want,
zone.
if somebody's sentence is over, they can pull them out. But
What goes on in the phantom zone? Are you just suspended in time? You know, do
yeah,
you
a
have
bunch of criminals just are hanging out, and talking about how they're going to get revenge on the Lords of Krypton for putting them in the Phantom Zone. Except that the Lords of Krypton don't exist anymore. It's all Superman now.
because the planet's gone?
No planet. And you know how tough our immigration laws are here now. You can't
I don't
get in.
know. I don't know what we have for immigration laws here. No one does.
You don't.
It's like the tariffs in the auto industry. We know we have them, but we don't know what they amount to or how they change prices. We don't know what a Chevrolet costs because of the tariffs, and we may never know.
Yeah, you're not gonna know. Why you don't know what a Chevrolet costs when there's no tariffs? Why would you start to know what they're going to cost when there is a tariff?
Well, your doubt is still there, but it's increased by a couple $1,000s because of the tariffs.
You're
I
going to go
think.
in, you're going to buy it, and you're going to just enjoy it. And don't worry. Like the salesman will tell you, put his arm around you. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to work out just like you want it. Just drive this little buggy home.
What about the guy in the back room who writes another number that's different from the number you wrote?
We'll straighten it out. Don't worry about it. Just
He's in the zone of terror back there, whatever it's called.
just get your car, get in your car and drive home.
Drive it off the lot. Be sure to drive it off the lot as soon as you can. That cinches the deal. Oh, I could have done something for you. We could have negotiated another way, but you drove it off the lot. What am I
Well,
supposed to do?
except that now in many cases, many of these dealers have this kind of take it back kind of thing going on where they give you the car for 30 days or 10 days or something, and you get a certain amount of miles. And if you don't like the car, you can bring it back.
That doesn't sound right at all.
It doesn't, but it's true. It happens.
Then
By
what do
the
you do
way,
with that car? Now you got a used car that you don't want, and the dealer doesn't want it. Who wants it?
somebody will want it. There's a car out there for everybody. There's everybody out there for some car. They're out there. You'll find it. It may take you longer to keep the car on the floor or whatever, but you'll get rid of the car. The factory will back you up. It's the way you got to sell. It's part of the way you have to sell cars now. Not all people qualify for it, but if you got good credit, you're a regular person, you have a house, you're stable, like I don't think if you're a homeless person or a drug dealer or something like that, you walk in, you're going to give you a deal like that.
Yeah, I think
But
if you're a drug dealer, you would get a deal.
oh yeah, you might get a deal if you're a drug dealer. But for the most part, if you're a stable, credit-worthy citizen of our United States, you could probably get that deal. But the deal that you want, though, is again, and I'll tell people because it's coming down to the nubs here, is if you are at all interested in exploring electric cars or hybrids, this is the weekend to do it because the $7,500 tax credit on hybrids and electric vehicles is going away the last day of September.
$7,500. That's just a deduction that you can take on your taxes.
Yeah, that's a federal. Yeah, that's the federal rebate on electric vehicles.
And Donald Trump's IRS is honoring this deal.
And they're honoring the deal, but after the 31st, I think, is there 30th? It's gone. Now, some states will keep their deals, some states won't. But it's iffy. California will probably keep their deal. But you'll still lose to 7 because usually California, I think, is in addition to the other rebates. So you can, if you're looking to get a hybrid or an electric car, you can go down to your Chevrolet dealer and get you an electric Equinox for about $200 a month on a lease, low mileage, lease, or a little Fiat 500e, which is a cute little car.
Yeah,
and for 200, you can get that for maybe even under $100 a month. I've seen people talking about deals that they've gotten like that.
can you negotiate the monthly payment, or is that part of a frozen deal?
You can probably negotiate a little bit, but it's a lease, so there's not a lot of room for negotiation. But you get in the car, it's a lease, so the car's going to be under warranty. So you're not going to have to worry about repairs. And at the end of the lease, if the car is worth more than you paid for it or worth more than the residual, you sell it. If it's not worth more than the residual, you hand it back to the dealer. And that's it. So you got a car for 2 years.
This is good for any electric car. It has to be total electric, not a hybrid.
I think it can be a hybrid if the quota of cars isn't sold out. So every car has a certain quota number of cars that are sold out that are allowed under this federal tax law. Once they hit that, you don't get the tax rebate anymore. So if you're going to go out and buy a Tesla, chances are you're not going to get a tax rebate. If you're going to buy
is there a zone of Fiat in Superman that you remember where all the electric cars are capable of tricks that they can't perform when they're in your regular zone? Like the zone of Seattle, for instance. If you're in the zone of Fiat, do you get a deal on the car, or will your car perform differently?
Well, I'm not quite tracking your question. So if your car performs differently,
well, in Superman there are zones for different things. The zone of kryptonite, the zone of
I don't know. It's a zone. I mean,
spaces between the dimensions. I thought it was what we
Oh
were
well,
talking
yeah,
about.
that's the Phantom Zone. That's like a special thing they came up with, because don't forget, their scientists were millions of years ahead of us in what they were doing. They were doing stuff that we hadn't even dreamed of. I mean,
Did they still have a guy in the back room that you never saw who would write on the paper as you're making your deal in the zone?
I don't know. See, I was never encrypted. It blew up before I. It must have blown up in 1938, because that's when they invented Superman, right?
1938 was the invention of Superman.
I think they created Superman in 1938. So that's, and I was born in 1955. So unfortunately, I wasn't there, and there was no with all the advances they had up there. Nobody had a video camera.
Wow.
Nobody had a video camera to record all of this stuff.
It's funny because now, if you were Lois Lane or Jimmy Olsen, part of your job would be to record, take pictures, and file them online for the Daily Planet's online presence. Jimmy and Lois have double responsibilities, not just as reporters, but capturing the video and the images of the news story.
Right.
They're responsible for collecting that for the website.
Even if they worked at a radio station, which, they could, if they worked at a radio station, they'd still have to capture images for the website.
The beauty of radio stupidity is that nobody runs the website on a radio station. Everyone has to contribute to it. It has to change every day. It has to be up to the minute. It has to be better than your air quality in terms of its content. But no one works on it. No one is employed to take care of it or to supervise it. And there you have the story of radio.
It depends on the station, but by and large, yeah. I mean, there's some stations that actually have somebody who's in charge of the website.
And the first person to go.
See, the problem with radio and the websites, excuse me, but there was the grandiose idea that the internet was going to be this huge moneymaker, this huge replacement for AM radio and FM radio too. But because of the music intensive format on the FMs and the fees that had to be paid, radio shied away from that. So they came up with all of these, put our news on it, put our sports, this, that, the other thing.
Give it away.
And most radio stations treated it as,
a nuisance.
An addition. Well, if you buy our radio spot times, but some stations, to be fair, some stations did look at it and say, this is going to be something. We maybe don't know what yet, but we should hire somebody to come in here that looks like they know what they're doing and run it, so that we don't run it the usual way we run things into the ground.
And so we can depend on it being updated several times through the day to respond to the news.
At least once a day, yeah. At least somebody, it won't, when you click on it, the stories, but I don't think anybody figured how labor intensive it is, because it's not just writing a story and putting it on the website. You got to write the story, you got to write the headline, you have to have photos because it's a visual medium.
And the photos, you have to have the rights to the photos.
You have to have the rights.
You can't use the newspaper's photos. You can't use somebody else's pictures.
Right, unless you come up with an agreement with that person or that entity, like channel Cairo Radio has an agreement with Cairo Television, so that they can use their video or their pictures. So, they can go back and forth and use each other's stuff, which is an immense boon to Cairo Radio.
Yep.
But there's no such agreement like with the Seattle Times. So when the Times gets a great photo, they can't use it. Not even if they credit them.
Right.
So they're kind of out of luck there. So, but
And
to their
you
credit,
have to pay even for the use of generalized pictures of a police car or a fire or something that you use for your
well, unless
story.
you take them. I mean,
If you
you
take
know,
them, yes, but
I'm not trained.
now you have the deadly idea of paying a reporter to actually cover the story that you're putting on your site. We don't want to do that.
Right. Well, yeah. Now you're talking about, now you're talking about having a reporter be almost an internet exclusive reporter because it's time intensive to put that stuff up. You have to edit videotape. You have to. It's not just like radio where you walk in the booth, you explode in the booth, and you go, this is and walk out again.
Without ever saying according to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, even if you say according to, it's still, it's a shorter thing. It probably takes you to put a 30-second or a minute story on the air on a website. It probably takes you a good half hour to do it.
Yeah, probably.
Between finding pictures to accompany a story or videotape, editing it, putting them up there, uh, putting on whatever kind of tags you have to put on them so that people get directed to the story. To do the SEO stuff so that people will get directed to the story. It's not just slapping something up there and that's it. That's all. It's a fairly and yes, they don't want to compensate
Anybody.
people for doing it. They still think that it's not the wave of the future. And again, that's a generalization because there are some companies that do know and do realize that it's the wave of the future. It's just that this wave isn't producing any water yet. And so they got to get something to squeeze out of it. Radio, they don't want to pay for anything unless it's producing wild amounts of money or uproariously funny so that they can tell their friends that, oh, I created that or I did that or that's my baby or whatever. Very ego-driven business, as you know.
I don't know if it's ego. I think it's ignorance. I think it's this idea that they can run a news department with nobody in it, nobody contributing anything, nobody working 24 hours a day, nobody doing reports, nobody filing news, nobody chasing news.
Well, Mikey, I worked at stations where they would send interns out to cover stories. People that didn't know how to work the recorder.
Someone who doesn't know what, who, what, where, when, and how is all
They
about.
don't know what the questions are to ask, and to the point where there were some organizations that asked that radio station not to send a reporter that was inexperienced. Don't send your interns. Don't send your dumb people.
You're
Not that
untrained.
interns are dumb. I'm not inferring that interns are dumb.
They're untrained warm bodies.
But there certainly aren't. There's certainly people without training for the most part. Now, listen, I know some interns that have flourished into some great radio people and have, are to this day employed in the radio business or the media business, and they're stars. They know what they're doing, and I know some that are idiots too that don't know what they're doing still 25 years later. But for the most part, the interns that I had, I was lucky. Interns that I had were really smart, good people who, once you showed them which way to go, you took the time, and you couldn't. If you got an intern, you couldn't just tell them to go get coffee and that's it. You had to teach them, you had to show them something. The other part of that intern equation is that we have people in this business that are afraid that the intern is going to take their job.
Because
Which,
an intern working for nothing is considerably less than what they pay you.
right. Well, wait, if you can make people laugh, why don't we use you instead of him and save $20,000 a year?
Because who's going to know the difference, really?
You're still going to turn on the radio. So, I mean, even and I know this is fascinating talk for people about radio, but it's just if you wonder why the quality of the product that comes out of your speaker is less than it has been uh, in uh, in these harrowing times. That's part of your reason is that radio stations want the people that work there to do a lot more for a lot less. And it's not seen right now by young people as a place with a future.
It
People,
hardly counts as a career or a industry.
yeah, yeah, unless you are able to move into a place where you get with a large news organization. But again, how many of them are putting radio out there anymore? How many of them? I mean, they're all about internet and streaming.
There's a
And
thing called NBC Radio, but it's really just Westwood One doing the
yeah,
same thing
and
as Westwood
there's a
One.
CBS radio, top of the hour, bottom of the hour. Um,
Yeah, but that's now Odyssey.
not even be
It's
at
not even
bottom of the hour
CBS.
anymore.
No, they do updates at the bottom of the hour, but you don't have to. They're not mandatory. You don't have to carry them.
Right.
There's a big story. The Comey story might go at bottom of the hour today. The top of the hour, however, is not. I mean, they call it CBS Radio News, but it's not. It's owned by Odyssey. CBS owns nothing in radio anymore.
Right.
Not even radio stations.
Yeah, they divested themselves of all of that stuff. So there's no. You're right. There's no more CBS. Well, there is a CBS Radio News, but it's in name only. It's not
the Columbia Broadcasting System.
right. It's not the Columbia Broadcasting System. It's not. Robert Trout isn't going to come out of an office with a copy in his hand and jump into the radio booth. Walter Cronkite is not going to sit down at a desk and do your top of the hour news.
No.
Unfortunately, because I'd love to see either one of those guys work. Watch them work. It'd be fascinating. Although
the stopwatch.
I did hear this morning that CBS is moving their morning show, their TV morning show, back into the CBS Broadcast Center on 57th.
Where's it been?
Now it's in Times Square. It was in 57th at the Broadcast Center there, which I've been in a number of times. But they have now decided that the price of being in Times Square or whatever it is not worth it anymore. Or we're not making enough money with this show that we can do this show on 57th Street and get as many people interested in it as we can on Broadway. Well, and to be fair, they're probably right. There's too many TV shows going on at times. I mean, you got 4 or 5 TV shows going on in Times Square at the same time every morning.
Every morning, yeah.
Sports,
news, entertainment.
Yeah. I don't know how you get people to stay and watch. People are going places, and these people are like begging people here. There's a 15-cent gift certificate for McDonald's or something like that.
Can you stand here and hold this sign for the rest of the morning?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about you. I never had 3 hours to sit in front of a window and wave at Jane Paul. Well, it wasn't even Jane Pauley back then. It was
Savannah Guthrie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But so they're going to move out. They're going to go back to where they were, the broadcast center. I don't know if they're going to do it in a studio that faces the street. Personally, to be honest with you, I don't know that I'd want to be on a TV show doing any kind of TV show in view of the public. anymore. You're kind of laying your life on the line.
Like the Today Show is pretty exposed.
Well, all of those are exposed. Good Morning America, although they're up on the second floor, I think, so they may be a little bit better. But all these other shows are out there, and it's not hard for some nut job to to get out there and cause some trouble, even if it's not shooting. It's just I mean, I guess they have a pretty good security detail because I've never seen any kind of.
I've never heard it referred to what their security measures are like.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. That's probably, they don't want you to know what it's like. They just want you to know that if something happens, you're going to get your head cracked.
But the host will be happy about it.
They'll
be smiling, and
you don't be saying that stuff to Gail without a fight.
She'll take you down.
She'll kill you, man. I mean, that's a large. I mean, she's a big woman, man. I wouldn't want to
full-size professional.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with her. Well, Nate too I mean, he's not a big guy, but he's a powerful guy, Nate. I mean, he's not a bogus guy. He hasn't let himself go since he left football.
And the defensive lineman on ABC from the Giants.
Strahan?
Yeah, you don't want to mess with him necessarily.
Well, he's got some age on him, though. He's got some age, and he's got a lot of stakes on him.
A lot of moves, however.
Yeah, I bet you still got some moves. I mean, that's stuff you don't forget. You may not be, it may be hard for you to do them, but they're still there. So.
And no matter what you say, you're going to get stink eye from Howie Long. That's all Howie's good for. Stink eye.
Yeah, and it could be worse. You could be getting chased around the block by Terry Bradshaw.
I don't think he could catch me, but it's possible. Anything is possible.
I don't think so, man. I've seen him walk. He does not look like a guy that, he looks like he's ready for a scooter or a wheelchair or something.
Well, if you've ever seen the veterans coming out at halftime at any football game, none of them walk without a limp. They've all got the limp.
Yeah.
That's the gift from football.
Well, I think the gift, excuse me. I think the gift of football is CTE. That's what I think the gift of football is. That's the thing that we're going to be talking about. I still believe for a long time. It shocked me that it hasn't gotten more play with all the stuff that's gone on with it, with the number of shootings that have happened because people with it have.
Well, I saw Cam Newton on the First Take show this morning on ESPN, and let me tell you, he is damaged. He ain't right. His presentation is scattered.
Well, yeah, you can see with many of these people that played that they're not. That there's just
he thinks he's one of the sharpest blades in the drawer, and it's not the case, Cam. It's not.
And as a matter of fact, this just coming across the wire now from CBS that the gunman who killed 4 people in a shooting targeting the NFL office in Manhattan had low-stage CTE, officials are saying. So this...
Well, he couldn't go to the right floor of the building. That was part of his problem. So whatever his navigation abilities were, they seem to be damaged.
Well, this is something that, again, I wish that it's not going to happen, because I thought that maybe that there would be some kind of movement on this at some point, that players or owners or would come to some kind of deal where there would be some kind of alteration of the way they play to protect the head more. That's not going to happen.
They just keep changing the helmet every year. They modify it and change it, and they still can't stop the injuries.
Well, because, and I think everybody knows this, but I'll just repeat it, the damage is caused by the brain moving inside of the skull.
Right.
There's nothing you can put inside the skull that's going to stop the brain from impacting the inside of your skull. So you're going to get to see, you're going to get it. It's going to happen if you are, one of those people that are susceptible to it. There's no helmet that you're going to create that's going to stop this movement inside, and it hits at I think it's the cortex, which is right here, and it hits right at the part of the brain which is most susceptible to it, which carries the nerve centers, which carries the types of things that you need to function. And it's just it's a shame that that the league and all of these people, the doctors and so on, and neurologists and so on, are working on this and trying to sound the alarm. The league is saying that there's nothing wrong.
Put these concepts aside. Your team won tonight. Aren't you excited about that more than this perceived danger?
And many people, and I can't tell you how many times we heard this, especially in Pittsburgh, which is a hard-nosed, town.
It's also a medical town.
Yeah, it is, but it's a hard-nosed town still. It's a town that says basically, its fans say, well, you know what you're signing up for.
But
you know what
you're
doing. My old man signed up for the steel mill. He knew that there was a chance that the slag could come down and burn him to death. He knew that there was this. He knew he was breathing poisonous gases, but he had to provide for his family. What's the difference?
There is no difference. They're both stupid concepts.
Yeah,
they destroy people.
But that's what, that's
in the name of a company or in the name of an industry.
That's what that's what the feeling among many, many, many fans is that that they know what they're doing. They're putting their lives on the line.
Well, you can always count on the fan to be stupid and uninformed, but the league knows what's going on, and the league is sponsoring it. The league is endorsing it. The league is underlying it, and the league says, we'll pay you. You won't know what a dollar is by the time you get up in the morning, but we're going to pay you this money, and that takes care of our contract. You played football, we paid you. That's the end of it. You got no claim against this league.
Well, as soon as they start, what'll force it is as soon as some of these players start winning lawsuits. As soon as some of these states start winning lawsuits against the NFL, against the different entities that knew, the owners, the sponsors, everybody, somebody's gonna break the line here and win a huge lawsuit, and probably not while Trump is president, but maybe after that. And maybe that'll change it. I thought that by now, to be honest with you, I said back in 2010 when I went to Pittsburgh that I predicted that within 10 years, the NFL would go into a upright stance league, that they would do whatever they could to minimize head-to-head contact, minimize the impact on the head. But I guess various surveys showed that people didn't find the game as exciting.
Well, if you have to chase a guy to tackle him and you're allowed to go at full speed and he's allowed to go at full speed, all bets are off. There's no way to prevent that collision.
Yeah. But if your linemen are lining up against each other and not intentionally all the time using their head, but their head gets, it's not the one collision. It's repeated collisions.
Repeated concussions.
Repeated. Well, they don't know. They think it's from what I've read. They think it's collisions that do it. That it's the aggregate of all of these impacts on the brain. Now, I don't know if they're all little concussions. I read somewhere, I remember, that there was like kind of big concussions, and then there were little concussions. And enough of the little ones could affect you just as much as a big one. I don't know.
With people who are more susceptible, and there's no way to know how you fit into that category. Junior Seau wouldn't seem to be a susceptible person because he was a big, tough linebacker, but that's exactly what he was. He was sensitive and susceptible to the damage of a concussion.
Yeah, it's so I thought that the NFL would have the sense and that the fans would accept that an upright stance going at each other like this instead of like this would be acceptable. It wouldn't take so much away from the game. But I guess I'm wrong. Won't be the first time.
Did you see your Seattle Seahawks last night?
I did see my Seattle Seahawks last night. Boy, they certainly made sure that nobody left the television set.
When you got 28 seconds to win the game, you got to make some yards. You can't make errors. You can't have interceptions. You can't have drop passes. You can't have runs that loses yardage, and you can't mismanage the clock. One mismanaged play, and all the time that you could have used to win the game is lost. So that was a good example of how to use the clock, how to use the field, how to use the time that's left, how to use your talents, how to put a combination of
all out of bounds.
Yeah. Which
I mean,
the referees got wrong.
Yeah, which again they had to take a look at, and the referees once again were stellar. It was, this happened a couple of times last year with the Seahawks, and I don't know exactly what the problem is, but this is, I think, the third time I remember seeing it, kind of a collapse like this in the late stages of a game, where they just, if the other team waits them out, and I don't know if that's necessarily players just starting to think, well, we got this in the bag, we can lighten up, or what, but it's a little scary. And it
well, not as scary as it is for Arizona. They've lost the last two games. They played the 49ers and the Seahawks, and in each game they lost with a field goal in the last seconds of the game. Field goal, the clock expires, game's over.
What are they what do they have? They have the 49ers next week again, right?
Possibly.
To
playing twice.
Arizona.
I think they're playing the 49ers. I think they're playing the Rams.
That's right. The 49ers are playing the Rams. You're right. That's right. The Battle of California, I heard. I don't know much about it. I know that Kyle, that their quarterback is not the quarter. It just seems like it's a team that supposed to be great.
It ain't.
And it ain't.
Not as good as Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold showed a lot of promise last night. Real connection.
He's
professional.
Yeah, he looked like a guy that wanted to be there. He looked like a guy that knew how to run the field. He looked like a guy that wasn't going to throw the ball away in the last.
No, he was poised and ready. Right.
I mean, Geno Smith, nice guy and everything like that, but Geno always in the last quarter of a game, you were waiting for him to toss the ball to somebody. You were waiting for him to give the ball up. It was almost
and by somebody you mean anybody.
Anybody that wasn't wearing your uniform. It was the knock on him in several places, and when they signed him here, it was the it was the knock on him too, and he had a couple of really good games where he didn't throw the ball away, but then he fell right back into his old ways. It got to the point where he was a good quarterback, but you knew that in high pressure situations, he was iffy at best to
Well,
perform.
there's another guy that can be described that way, and that's Russell Wilson, who just lost his starting job in New York.
I think he's toast.
You know what it's like. You know what it's like, Vinny, to go to the Big Apple and go start 0-3. That's not a way to endear yourself to the public. Do we have another quarterback? Yes, we do. His name's Jackson. Put him in there.
Yeah, I think he's done, man. I think that somebody may take a rider on him, but the only guy I think that might is already took a rider on him, and it didn't work out too well. That's Mike Tomlin, from Pittsburgh, the head coach there. He gave Russell Wilson a shot. I don't know what happened, but I know he was benched after, 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, they didn't need him. They didn't need that.
And they got Aaron Rodgers there now, who is supposedly running the offense okay. And seems like he's keeping his mouth shut and just playing the game.
Which is a big improvement over the way he was with the Jets.
Well,
mouth was flapping and he couldn't play the game.
Right, don't take politics out of it for a second. Just the fact that you get your coach fired alone would put you on the crap list with half the guys in your locker room.
I want a new coach, a new general manager, and a couple wide receivers from my old team. Call me when you get that done.
Yeah. It's
and what will you give us if we do that? Give you? Nothing I can think of. I'm not going to give you anything.
It was an extreme case of letting the inmates run the asylum.
Yeah.
And much to his credit, the owner of the Jets let him get away with it.
It's true. He encouraged it.
Listen, I think there's people that go to New York and they feed on the drama. Reggie Jackson was a guy like that. He knew what was going on. He fed on the drama. He loved it. He loved the whole heat of being in the middle of it. No matter how many times they'll say, I'm a country boy from here, from Oakland. No. They thrive on that, and they see that, and they get like empowered. There's Deion Sanders, I think, is another guy like that. He thrives on the controversy. He loves it. What else can you say? And in New York, they'll give it to you. You want controversy? They got it in the large family size, man.
Every day. How much do you need? I can start the controversy now, or do you want to wait till the break?
We got fuel oil trucks full of it sitting down on 11th Avenue, just waiting to come on up.
They're double parked for blocks.
Yeah. We got controversy for you. You want it, you got it, man. This is and there's no shortage of people who create their own controversy for the hell of it.
Happy to do it.
There's no shortage of reporters and internet influencers and people who'll say, well, geez, if I just print this, who's going to care?
Who am I hurting? This is just sports.
Right. So they can get their name and they can get interviewed by another television station or by, it's a media feeding frenzy. And
the only thing that cures it is winning.
Yeah. Most of the time.
Nothing else will do.
Most of the time. But winning cures everything. Or most everything. The only place that I never saw winning cure anything was the Yankees in the 70s. I mean, they won you know, about as much as you could win, right?
Well,
Those
Billy was a
77
little sauced.
to 80 Yankees, they won as much as you could win, and they had great players, but nobody
Steinbrenner
was
was
ever
never.
happy.
Steinbrenner couldn't be satisfied.
He couldn't be satisfied. Billy Martin couldn't be satisfied. The players couldn't be satisfied. The fans couldn't be satisfied. Nobody could be satisfied. And any sane person was trying to get out of there. And when you're trying to leave a club that's got a potential to win the World Series every year, that says something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, as opposed to Seattle, where we don't have any controversy at all.
Well, in San Francisco, we do, because we're losers again this year, and the team is talking about Bob Melvin without mentioning his name. They're mentioning Buster Posey instead. Buster Posey doesn't like to lose. Buster Posey didn't put together a losing team. Buster Posey wants to win. Buster Posey has been given the reins of this team to turn it around. And Buster Posey has not said anything about keeping Bob Melvin. And I'm not saying all the team's problems can be traced back to Melvin, but none of the solutions that were in place could be traced back to Bob Melvin either.
Well,
and it's a pity, because I thought he was going to be a good manager.
I never watched, and I'll tell you, I don't watch a lot of Giant games, but I never saw a game where I saw Bob Melvin looking like he was into the game.
He seems detached from the whole thing. He's there.
Yeah,
the game's being played, but he's not into it.
Yeah, he certainly didn't look like the Bob Melvin I saw here, or I saw so many years with the Oakland Athletics, where he was, he looked like he was hanging on to everything everybody did, and seemed to have it like all up in here and ready to tell somebody, what they were doing. He looked like I don't know. It just looked strange for him. Whereas, with several other managers, they looked like they were, into it. They were upset about things, or they were happy about things. And I don't know. It was just a different Bob Melvin than I was used to seeing.
It wasn't what we thought we were getting.
Well, somebody had to know what they were getting, because they spent a lot of money on him. And I don't know if that was a fact of he just should have, I don't know. Sometimes some guys get to the point in their career where that's it, they're done. Maybe he wanted one more, he wanted that kind of dream eventual of him managing the Giants. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to put the Bob Melvin fan club back together.
Well, his work that got him that job was in Oakland and in San Diego. What earned him the consideration was not anything he ever did with the Giants.
No, it was a joke with the Giants. It was a punchline. But I don't know. I don't know what the excuse will be. I don't know. Will it be injuries? Will it be this? Will it be that? I don't know what excuses they have down there for them. Except that the only thing you can possibly say is that nobody really thought we were going to do anything, and we achieved really kind of punched above our weight for most of the season and just couldn't sustain it. Just couldn't keep it going.
We put together a team that we thought was going to stink, and we won games without knowing how we did it. Don't blame us. It wasn't our fault. We planned to lose. The fact that we won so many games was just a trick of the light.
Yeah, we didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Must have been the wind. Must have been the fog.
Well, we certainly won't do that again.
We won't make that mistake ever again.
Yeah, no, don't expect us to do anything stupid like that again. It's funny. Meanwhile, It is the final weekend. The Dodgers are in town for 3 games. They've already won the West. There is a plethora of scenarios to which everybody can cheer or jeer for.
And the Dodgers going to rest their men.
Is who going to rest them in? The Dodgers?
Dodgers. They're going to rest their starting pitchers, or
yeah, I probably. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends if there's guys that need to, do you rest people, or are there guys that need to go? The really good thing up here for the Mariners is that Brian Wu is, he's got an injury, and while it's not a season-ending injury, or they don't think it is, the days of rest and a first-round bye would certainly be
very welcome.
A welcome thing. It would certainly be something that that the team doctors and the trainers and everybody would like the time for him to rest and to get, to not have to go out there and hurl. I don't expect to see him. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, I don't even know that I expect to see him in the first. If there's not a bye, if it winds up that they have to go somewhere and play, in that first round, if they're that one division winner that has to go and play somebody, that you would see him pitch. I don't see anywhere where you'd see him come in until the second round.
Teams don't bring up AAA players by the handful at the end of the season much anymore. And it's a pity, because that would be one way to field a team.
Well, I think they do have. Yeah, I think that they can't bring up the numbers that they used to bring up. I know that, but yeah, you're right. That'd be a But then you'd have people moaning and groaning and, oh, you guys put we paid our $100 for tickets, and you didn't put a professional baseball team on the field. You put your AAA team out there. That would be the complaint on the internet. That would be,
might be the complaint on the sports coverage from that market.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think you got to do what you need to do. I see that's part of being a manager, though. You know who needs to stay every day or every fourth day or fifth day and stay in a rotation to keep going, and who doesn't.
Because when you rest them, you take a chance of them coming out of the rotation, and they're used to pitching, and they don't pitch. So when they do pitch next, they're starting their series, and their delivery is off, their location is off, and their pitches are so superstitious. Their timing and their preparation, everything that they're used to for the whole year, every 4 days, now suddenly you don't pitch.
Yeah, it's it really is. I mean, it's what a manager has to
juggle.
Yeah, has to figure out, and again, that's what the general manager and the assistants and the coaches. That's what they get paid to figure out, right? I mean,
and to keep the team ready. And not hurt, not exhausted, not tired.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They definitely have to keep. They have to keep them in a good spot. They got to keep them.
And if Scherzer won't tell you that his arm hurts and tells you that he's fine, you got to know that his arm does hurt and he's not fine.
Right. That's why. I mean, really, when you think about it, that is why you employ a pitching coach, isn't it? To kind of know what's going on.
The Giants have had that right. They know they need a pitching coach, so they hire one. But what he does and how it affects the team is doubtful.
Well, I don't know the pitching staff well enough with the Giants to know what's going. You I'm sure you have a much better knowledge of that. That you can kind of talk about that a little bit, but what is the where are they going? Are there guys that are? It seemed to me like it was half guys that had a future and half guys that didn't. which was
or
which
half
was
guys
it?
who the guys who had a future were equal in numbers to the guys who got that job by accident. Got the job because there wasn't
Yeah,
another second baseman. We didn't have another right fielder. You got the job. And the Giants had about five players like that in their starting lineup throughout the season that didn't earn their position by their play or their pitching or their hitting. They earned it because we needed them. We needed them. They didn't need us. They wouldn't have started on another team.
So we expect that to be a revamp, and is that gonna go through? I mean, they're going to go out and spend money for free agents, or is it going to have to come through the farm system, or what do they have? I mean,
It's got to come from somewhere. They got a new first baseman that came through the farm system. Started in Double A, made it all the way to the show at the end of the year. Big kid, 6'7", 240 pounds. He's a big load at first base. Reminds me of Dave Kingman and his long, lanky posture.
There you go. Can he catch better than Kingman? I got a glove here if the kid wants to use it.
Well, no, Dave Kingman never used his glove. That was the Dave Kingman.
Slightly used. I love that. I love that I found a Dave Kingman glove in Wairika, California.
You don't have to break it in because you're not going to use it anyway.
This is you can give this to somebody as a golden glove, and they'll never have to worry about using it. That was my what would you call it? That was my find of the trip.
You got that in California?
Yeah, my kid and I, we love going to thrift stores and just walking around and looking and seeing what's in. And we found that at like 10 o'clock in the morning. They just opened up the Goodwill store in Wairika. And we just had breakfast, and we just, happened to go and walk into this place. And there it was sitting on a shelf. Dave Kingman. How could I, for $5, how could I leave that there?
There's no way you're going to leave Dave Kingman behind. You remember him during his glory days as a Met.
Yeah. Yeah. There was just no way that I could leave that behind.
Hey, Vinnie, what are you driving this week?
Even if I give it to some kid at some point, here's his glove. I don't know. I just had to own it for a little while. I had to be able to say I in my life.
The kid's got to have a checkered career stretched out before him.
Yeah. It's got. Yeah,
I'm giving you this glove, but you got to understand it's a Dave Kingman glove. It's not going to always serve you the way you want it to. You're not always going to get the hit. You're not always going to get the ground ball. With the Dave Kingman glove comes the Dave Kingman performance, and you just got to learn to live with it.
Right, but toward the end of your career, you get to throw a rat at a reporter, at a female reporter. So you should be happy about that.
Is this a full-grown Norwegian wharf rat?
I don't know what kind of rat it was. I remember it was in a shoebox. I remember he had the
Florsheim rat
box. So that was Dave Kingman in a shoebox.
That was him overreacting to female reporters in the dressing room.
Yeah, yes. There was a time, my children, when if you were a female reporter, you could not go in a locker room or a clubhouse. How things have changed.
All it took was the guys to wear a towel. That's all it took. When you leave the shower, wear a towel. Back to your locker.
Wasn't that hard? All right, what am I driving this week? Well, believe it or not, Michael, I'm driving this puppy.
Looks like a Lexus.
It is a Lexus. It's a Lexus GS 550. This is a luxury vehicle. I mean, but the thing about this one, and I'm going to find out more about it later today or tomorrow when I kind of take it up into the hinterlands and see what we got going on, is that it is extremely capable off road. A lot of these things, you get them, you jump in them. This one's almost $90,000, and you're almost afraid to take it off road. You wouldn't want to take it off road. You'd be afraid of breaking something. This Lexus, this doesn't feel like it has any problem going off road. All of the reviews that I've looked at, all of the information I look at about it, everybody raves about its off road ability. So I'm going to take it to the off road track this afternoon, and give it a run through. If not this afternoon, this weekend, and see what exactly is so good about it off road. But it feels really nice driving it on road, which I was pretty impressed with as well. I mean, I haven't driven a lot on road; I just got it yesterday. But when you get it on the highway, it's very comfortable. It rides like a big passenger car almost, more than a truck. And it really is a truck. I mean, it's got a frame and a body separate, that they bolt together with everything else. So it gives you more durability. It gives you more of an anti-twist in the body. It gives you more strength in the body. And
its profile reminds me of the Forerunner you had last week.
It's kind of built on the same platform. They're kind of the same. They're much the same, and the color is the same too. The Lexus is a slightly different brown, but it's kind of the same thing. And it now this cost almost double what the Forerunner. Well, not a double, but probably a third to a half more than the Forerunner. The Forerunner, I think, was 55 or something like that. This is 87, almost $90,000, exclusive of tariffs and everything like that. And this is, I believe, is built strictly in Japan. But it's a hell of a vehicle, and it has obviously all the stuff you need to go off road. It has the hill climbing, the hill descent, brakes, and everything like that. Very, very, comfortable in those situations. But also the good thing about Lexus, and what I like, is they do a lot of little things on this car as well. And I know this is going to sound stupid, and it was in the Forerunner too. Toyota has decided to put a small air compressor. A lot of these cars now are coming with these vans and SUVs are coming with vacuum cleaners in the back. Chrysler started that trend years ago. Well, Lexus and Toyota said, you know what? Let's put an air compressor in the back. This way people can blow up their rafts, their balloons, their, whatever people.
Their neighbor.
Blow up dolls, their neighbor, whatever they want to blow up. They can, they can blow up. They have a little companionship on the road. Get through that carpool lane. And so this and the Forerunner had this little compressor in the back. And if you have to blow up a raft or blow up a blow-up bed or something like that, you put it in, you turn it on, you blow it up. You're not killing yourself. You don't have to pay Amazon $75 to send you one of those compressors. You have it right in the back of your car. So kudos to Toyota. Again, we will be, and Lexus, we will get this some more test time, get it up to the Joe and up to the off-road tracks. And we'll report to you back tomorrow morning on drive time at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, you say. How can I listen?
You can listen right here. All you have to do is log on to the Facebook or YouTube. If you go to YouTube, it's Drive Time Radio and TV. If you come to our beautiful internet site here at just go to NY Vinnie and you'll find it. It's right here on this same click. Just go to my page, my name. It'll be there. You can go to like the YouTube channel. We're on X. We're broadcasting on all of the social media channels. So,
and as the good people at Nexstar and Sinclair are finding out, if they don't broadcast Jimmy Kimmel, you can just watch him on YouTube and be fine.
yes. Yeah, I think they're I think they're finding out that
there are ways to watch without
there
them.
are ways to watch in this streaming digital world that we live in. Yeah, you're not going to beat them that way. You better figure out something. Better fund your hate preachers more.
Plus, the interesting thing about Nexstar and Sinclair is that they're not funny people. They're not entertainers. They don't have a message that you want to cling to each and every day at 11:30 at night. Jimmy's got the advantage over them right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Sinclair, tell us about your day. Do you have a monologue? No, we don't. No, not tonight.
What are they? What were they running? What were they running? The Steve Harvey show? Was it Family Feud or the Steve Harvey? It was something to do with Steve Harvey.
Celebrity Family Feud.
I like Steve Harvey. He's a nice guy. No Jimmy Kimmel.
No. And Guillermo won't do his show.
It's a stupid move that they're going to continue, but they're going to stay true to their politics. Listen, they got their marching orders.
Because they're afraid to change.
Well, they got, in the case of Nexstar, I guess they have licenses up for renewal, or they're purchasing stations.
They want to buy more than they are allowed under the agreement. They want a dispensation. They want the law changed so they can buy 78 stations, run them all into the ground with a plan to make profit out of the suffering of all those stations. They don't have enough stations right now to make them suffer and pay for themselves. So they need more stations to get the equation right. If they can double the amount of stations they have and put them all into near receivership, fire half the news department, get rid of all their talent, and still maintain being on the air every day, they can squeak out a profit. They don't care for how long, just long enough to sell the whole thing to somebody else.
Well, I'm sure with AI they can do that now, right? They don't even have to. They can create their own people. They can make them look like they want them to look.
I always said that I work for guys in radio who, if they'd been in television, would have tried to do it without cameras.
Yeah. Well, half of these people trying to do it without microphones in a radio station. Before we go, Michael, we had a passing in the in our circle of people. I don't know if you heard.
Bill Rice.
Bill Rice, our former news guy on KJR, passed away. I guess last week, and I liked Bill. He was definitely an interesting guy.
He was his own man.
He loved his airplanes, man,
and he loved radio.
And he loved radio. Yeah. He liked what he was. He loved what he was doing. He did it well. I mean, he was a great voice, and he lasted a long time in the business. Which is again something that now a guy like Bill Rice today might never get a chance because he was too straightforward. He was too, he wasn't the wacky morning newsman.
No, that was not his thing.
That was not his thing. His thing was to give you the facts and only the facts. And if they were about airplanes, no matter where they be.
The story was in the rundown.
It was somewhere in there, man. Listen, I talk about cars a lot with it. Even when I was, when we were doing sport, I used to talk about it. He talked about airplanes. We had transportation covered, Michael.
Damn right.
Planes and all we need, automobiles. We were into it, but he was a good guy. I guess he had a short illness, and then passed away. I think he was in his late 70s, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he was 77.
77. A good guy. And um, our condolences go out to his family, his just a nice, just him and Elaine, which was his companion. Oh, just nice people, you know. Like I said, just nice people, you know.
True enough.
Yeah. So we're at that point, Michael.
See you tomorrow at 11 o'clock then.
Yeah. I will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock if the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise, Michael. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
All right. Let's have some a toast to Bill Rice. See you then.
To Bill Rice. All right. Take care. Thank you all for listening to. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock.